Bernard Buffet, for me, was one of the great post-war artists, in as much as he actually lived through the war in Paris and had a unique experience that he put into his work. So he is, in a sense, a war artist, even though he is a child at that time. He wasn't formally educated, but he was self-educated. He was very well read, and he would go into the Louvre during the war to sort of be warm and to look at these great paintings. He'd see Baron Gros' work, he'd see all the great French masters that already would have been old-fashioned at that time. He's going back beyond the Impressionists, really. So he's looking at the sort of great works of art history. And when he gets to his maturity, that in a way holds him back, because he is such a technical, brilliant painter, and he also is very, very historically minded. The history of France is so important to him, and one sees it throughout the work. It's as much about the subject as the treatment. With the existentialist movement, I think in a way that's a slight misnomer, because he's painting what he saw that just happens to be the grimness, the tedium, the shortages, the discomfort, the privation of the post-war. He just happened to be painting what the intellectual elite were also grappling with at the same time. It's quite powerful work. Buffet's work has been received in different ways at different times. In the first period of his work, I'd say the first 10 years of his career, when he was with Pierre Bergé until he was 30, he was the darling of the intellectual elite. He did many more portraits at that time than he would do later, and this was really largely at Bergé's doing. Bergé was, in a way, he was practicing for what he did with Yves Saint Laurent. He sort of harnessed his power to kind of pull them both on this great upward trajectory. So he painted all the people like Jacqueline Delubac, he painted the Académie Goncourt, he painted prominent French people and collectors, which he wouldn't do in later life. He didn't do quite so much of that. So that was a lot of playing to the gallery, if you like, becoming the favoured painter of the sort of intellectual elite. I only started to know him really from around about 5 years after his death, and I was fascinated by this character who had been so in and then became so out, and he was such a hero and then he was such a demon, and then every time I looked at Paris Match from that period, he was always there doing something. He did prolific work. He's a fantastic draftsman. What he can do with a pencil is just extraordinary. There's a brilliant Pathé News of him painting, and it's just so easy for him. It was just almost like an automatic painting. It just happened. This stuff just poured out. I'm very sorry that Maurice Garnier didn't live to see the show in 2016, because I knew Maurice Garnier, and he was a sort of trooper of the reputation of Buffet. He dedicated his life to him. He was so loyal, so protective, and just kept Buffet alive. And then he was rediscovered by a kind of counterintuitive movement of curators in the second decade of the current century. And it was quite daring, in a way, to put this major retrospective on of a painter who was derided by the French establishment. And of course, Bergé came to the opening and he said, it's the exhibition I would have always wanted for Bernard. And 2016 was a sort of little bit of an annus mirabilis for his reputation. I would have thought that a major exhibition like that would keep his work in the eye of a younger generation who perhaps come to his work unencumbered by the prejudices of a previous generation. I mean, we know things have moved back from conceptual art towards a figuration, and Buffet really should be celebrated very much at the heart of that return.